Baseball fans in Chicago are loving the 2016 season. A really good team on the north side, a really good team on the south side, and the Twins tonight will try to beat the White Sox for the first time in 5 meetings. Chris Sale, the ace of the White Sox, will go for Chicago. He's been perfect, 6-0 so far this year. Irvin Santana coming off the disabled list for the Minnesota Twins. And we welcome you to U.S. Cellular Field. Dick Bramer along with Jack Morris for Game 2 of this series. It has been an awful start to the season for the Minnesota Twins with way too many losses. And 7 players from the start of the season, the 25-man roster, aren't even here anymore. And more changes, Jack, today.
Tommy Milone no longer here. Casey Fiend is going to be pitching for the Los Angeles Dodgers. You see some of the roster moves that were taking place. Brandon Kinsler was activated, selected from AAA. Pat Dean, a left-handed pitcher, is going to come up and try to take over some of those innings out in the bullpen. And Escobar is put on the DL, so that brought up Jorge Polanco.
Well, there have been some injuries to be sure, but it's remarkable when you think that 7 players from the opening day roster just 5 weeks ago are not here in Chicago as the Twins try to get this season turned around.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I talked to Gabe Morale, the visiting clubhouse manager here in Chicago, and he said, and he was working when I played, so that's how far he goes back. He said he's never had to make up more uniforms in 2 days than he has this series.
Well, the Twins will hope to even this series at a game apiece. Last year they had great success against Chris Sale, and they'll hope for another good night tonight. More on the Chicago lefty when we come back. Fox Sports North is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. For the everyday competitor in all of it. About 20 degrees cooler than it was last night. Still very pleasant for baseball tonight as the Twins and White Sox meet in Game 2 of the series. Right-handers, left-handers alike will tell you Chris Sale's simply nasty. 746 strikeouts since 2013. Only a couple of guys have struck out more batters than Chris Sale, and he'll face the Twins here tonight on our Toyota Key Stat. The Twins will hope to not strike out very often against Chris Sale, who's very successful, obviously, 6-0 this year, but he hasn't been striking out as many guys this year.
And he hasn't had to. I think he felt the need that he had to last year because the defense was letting him down so many times, in particular against the Twins. But this year, depending more on that defense, and he's got his pitch count better situations. He's getting deeper into ball games, which is something that he likes and the bullpen likes. He's 6-0 this year, great ERA, and still a pile of strikeouts.
He beat the Twins in his first start against them last year. Then they beat him 4 times in a row. And in fact, in 2 different starts, they knocked him out after the 3rd inning.
Yeah, the Twins had his number last year, and I think it really frustrated Chris Sale. I wonder if he's going to come out even more determined with the great start that he's had. And we also kind of wonder if maybe Paul Molitor or one of the coaches might have found something in his delivery that tipped his pitches. Robin Ventura thinks that may have happened. We'll see if it's all fixed right now.
Well, the Twins will hope to do some damage against Sale, and Byung Ho Park will get his first game, first at-bats against Chris Sale in tonight's game. He's had a great start to his rookie season.
I try to mainly keep my focus on my task at hand, and that's pitching and getting outs. I'm not a big, strong guy, and as much whip as I can create with my arm, better off I think I am. Pitching, you want all your momentum going towards the glove. You don't want to throw it to the glove, you want to throw it through the glove. And as comfortable as you can be out there, the pitching is all about feeling.
Tough task for the Twins hitters tonight, facing Chris Sale, who's very good against lefties and righties and is off to his best start. And Paul Molitor hoping that the Twins can maybe knock him out early, at least do some damage against him and take the early lead. The Menards batting order has Darren Mastroianni leading things off, then Eduardo Nunez, Miguel Sano, Trevor Plouffe, Byung Ho Park, Oswaldo Arcia, Jorge Polanco, Suzuki, and Santana. And Mastroianni's in the box, and we're ready to go. And the first pitch inside, ball 1. Mastroianni just called up. He had a great spring training for the Twins, but didn't make the team out of spring training. Didn't hit particularly well in Rochester. Swing and a miss, 1-1. In the lineup because if he gets on base, he can create a little havoc. Maybe distract Sale a little bit. Check swing, and that was right over the head of Eduardo Nunez. 1-2.
Well, this is the type of game that Sale will start a game. He just comes right at you. He doesn't have any fear. And 4 pitches into the game, he's got his first strikeout. See, it's just a fastball up in the zone that Mastroianni just can't catch up to.
Northland Ford defense for the White Sox, and it's a big reason they have the best record in the American League. In the outfield, Melky Cabrera, Austin Jackson, Adam Eaton, Frazier, Saladino, Laurie, and Abreu, the infielders, and Deanna Navarro doing the bulk of the catching with Alex Avila on the disabled list. Here's Eduardo Nunez, and he takes inside a ball.
Well, Robin Ventura is sending the same lineup out there. It was very good defensively last night.
Particularly in the outfield. All 3 outfielders made a really nice play. And up and away, 2-0. Bill Miller behind the plate. Pat Hobert, Brian Knight, Todd Tishner on the bases. 2-0 to Nunez. Swing and a foul. I asked Robin Ventura today whether, given what happened to Sale against the Twins last year, whether there was some concern he was tipping his pitches, and Robin said, yeah, from the Chicago dugout they notice what he's doing sometimes, and the strong suspicion is that the Twins picked up something last year that allowed them to anticipate pitches before they were thrown. And now a strike call, 2-2. So he said they would be doing some things differently, acknowledging the flaw. There's a pitch apparently catching the corner. 2-2. Very high pop-up right side. Laurie started back, now comes in. Back again to make the catch. Yeah, and he beat the Twins in the first start last year, and then they pretty much tattooed him.
Yeah, and those are the splits between the Twins and the rest of the league, and you can see such a drastic difference. The Twins owned him, and the rest of the league he pretty much had his way with.
Here's Miguel Sano, 4 hits and 5 at-bats against Sale last year. And Navarro doesn't even catch it. Ball 1.
I can testify that it's hard enough playing this game without anybody knowing what's coming. You know, as a pitcher, when you're tipping pitches, it's almost impossible. You tell a hitter, hey, the fastball's coming. Well, guess what? They're a lot better hitter when they know that's coming. And so they've got to address that, and hopefully for the White Sox they have. Twins hope that they hadn't yet.
2-1. Swing and miss.
Sale's always been one of those guys that he gets the ball and he's going at you, and he kind of flies open. He's a little bit spread out at times. He's 6'6" tall and weighs $180. So tall, lanky guy, but he even describes his delivery as whip.
Sano singles sharply to right field.
Openly admitted that he's not the strongest guy, but flexibility wise, and you know, that big differential in his torso allows him to generate a lot of velocity and a lot of movement.
And oddly, Robin said that that was one of the reasons why he's susceptible to tipping pitches. He says he's skin and bones out there, and if there's any little tweak or twitch or tendency, it's more visible because there's less of him out there. Plouffe, and he takes ball 1.
Take a look at his delivery from the side here. What I like is he gets a little bit of body tip. He gets over his front knee, but he's kind of a sidewinder. He's about just a little above sidearm. He's not really a 3/4 guy. And a lot of hitters will say, man, sometimes it looks like he's crossfiring. It looks like it's coming out of second base instead of straight over the mound and towards center field where the batter's eye is.
96 miles per hour, a wicked slider, and a very good changeup. can understand why hitters have had a tough time with him. There's a slider missing low, 2-1. When they beat Sale 4 times last year, in 3 of those games they scored first, the Twins did. Now they're trying to put together a 2-out rally here in the first. Strike call, 2-2.
Trevor's got some pretty good numbers against Chris Sale. He's seen him a lot. He's 12 for 37 at a .324 batting average coming into today's game.
Two and two. High fly to left center field. Headed toward the gap. Jackson after it. He won't get there, and it bounces into the seats for a ground rule double. Sano certainly would have scored, and the ball nearly hit the top of the wall and stayed in. Instead, it's a double. Second and third with 2 away.
Well, Sale and the White Sox caught a break right there because, like we had talked about a few games ago, the runner, the lead runner, has to be around third base in order to be awarded home. And Miguel Sano was just getting to third base when this ball bounces up into the stands, so he has to go back to third. No question he would have scored there, so it's going to be up to Byung-Ho Park to maybe drive in 2.
He started a couple of 2-out rallies last night with base hits. Let's see if he can finish one off. Sale's been behind 1-0 to all 5 batters here in the first inning. Park takes a strike.
Last year when he went through that stretch where he was having trouble with the Twins, it seemed like he never got into any kind of rhythm. The Twins got to him early in several of those games, and he couldn't get past the 4th, 5th inning. Just a lot of frustration for Chris Sale, but we've also seen this guy totally dominate him. He gets through the 1st or 2nd and gets on a roll, and it's pretty much lights out after that.
Well, he's got a unique delivery, and then there's the novelty of the fact that he's left-handed. He's just the 5th left-handed starter the Twins have faced this year. 2-2 to Byung-Ho Park. Already making Sale work, and that was kind of the constant theme in his starts against the Twins last year. Pitch number 24. A check swing, no swing, and the ball hit Park. He'll go to first. So they're loaded up now for Oswaldo Arcia. Bill Miller appealed to Pat Holberg, who said he did not go. And that appears to be the case, pretty close. And so now with 2 out, the Twins have loaded the bases.
He throws a slider there that breaks back into that back foot. We call that the back foot slider is what we call it. And he got him there.
Here is Arcia, the only left-handed batter in the Twins lineup against Sale.
Sale had his shortest outing his last time out, and it was because of pitch count. He only pitched 5 in the 3rd innings. Did pick up the win, left the game with a 6-0 lead.
And Arcia gets jammed, fouls one over the Chicago dugout.
But pitch count could play in a factor into this game also. He's already at 25, which is a lot.
1 strike to Arcia, who clobbered a 2-run home run last night to left center field. Side, 1-1. Twins with 9 hits so far in the series, and 8 of them have come with 2 outs. And Arcia trying to get another big 2-out hit here. Checked his swing, and it's 2-1. Arcia with the home run, but he drew 2 walks last night. Further evidence that he's becoming a more patient hitter. And now he's got a 2-1 count. Three and 1. And Sale barking at himself for missing badly on the 4th pitch to Arcia. Ball 4, and Sale walks in a run. The inning started with Sano's 2-out single, and here comes Don Cooper to talk to Chris Sale.
I think Coop's going to try to just calm him down. He's going so hard, so fast. pitchers have a lot to do with the pace of game. Even though you want to work quickly, you also have to be in control. I think Chris Sale is just going so hard that he's flying open. His control isn't there.
Jorge Polanco will hit. The bases loaded, 2 outs. Cooper with some extra dialogue with Bill Miller. I don't know if that is about the check swing with Parks being hit by a pitch. At any rate, here's Polanco. Called up today. This is his 7th call-up in the big leagues. Ball 1.
Navarro did not help out his pitcher right there by the way he caught that ball. He kind of let the ball carry. Once it hit his glove, it just continued on the inside part of the plate.
There's a strike. More often than not last year, when the Twins had Sale on the ropes, they got a big hit in a spot like this. And that hits Polanco. Sano singled, Plouffe for the ground rule double, hit batter, walk, hit batter, and it's 2-0.
Well, the frustration must be continuing here for Sale. This is not characteristic of the kind of start he's had to a season, but
another back foot slider.
Yeah, you can see how far that slider ran. It almost started off the plate away and came back all the way across the plate inside.
Laurie, the second baseman, trying to give Sale a bit of a pep talk. Don Cooper's already spoken his piece. And now here is Suzuki. The fans trying to encourage Sale. Strike 1. Suzuki steps out of the box. Sale ready to go here. He's trying to wrap up business in the top of the first. Up and away, 1-1.
His fastball has been up quite a bit, and that just indicates that his lower body is going quicker than his upper body.
One and 2. Suzuki 8 for 23, hitting .348 against Sale. Tapper to short. And a very close play. They just got Polanco at second base. Twins get a couple of runs. They leave 3 and they jump out early against Chris Sale, who has some words for Bill Miller as he comes off the mound. Ervin Santana's got an early lead against the White Sox. wins already on the season. A disappointing year last year. Off to a good start. They'll send out this Menards batting order. If he kept score last night, pencil in the same names: Eaton, Jackson, Abreu, Frazier, Cabrera, Laurie, Garcia, Navarro, Saladino.
Well, Joe Mauer already in this ball game, so maybe Young Ho Park was hit by a pitch. It hurts more than it looked. Joe Mauer taking over at first base.
Strike one quickly to Adam Eaton. It doesn't look like a year where Joe's going to get much time off. Strike two. There was a game on the last road trip in D.C. Joe was given the game off. He entered the game late in the 8th inning as a pinch hitter. That was the game that went 16 innings. He was supposed to have the day off today, and he's in the bottom of the first. Eaton steps out with Santana quickly ahead, 0-2.
And Santana doing exactly what he needs to do right here. Come right after him. You got 2 runs to work with. Force him to hit the ball. Make your fielders touch the ball. Make them a part of this game.
Santana put on the disabled list, kind of a freakish injury. 1-2. And foul. He strained his back, bending over to pick up a baseball, shagging balls during batting practice. And for those of us who've had any kind of back issues, you do something like that, it seems like the most harmless thing you can do. Ball slashed to left. Eaton continues to hit the ball well. He's got a leadoff single. 15 days later, he's off the disabled list, back on the mound. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Oswaldo Arcia is in left. Danny Santana in center. Darren Mastroianni in right. Plouffe, Nunez, Polanco, and now Mauer at first. And Suzuki behind the plate. Here is Austin Jackson. Eaton now 4 for 9 against Irvin Santana. Jackson 1 for 17. There's strike one. Sale was falling behind everybody 1-0 in his first inning. Santana jumps ahead of the first 2 batters with his first pitch. Popped up. Mauer near the Twins dugout. 2 strikes. Santana hasn't pitched in 2.5 weeks. Did not go on a rehab assignment, so realistically 90 pitches, 80 pitches, something like that.
Yeah, Paul Muller did not want to commit to any particular number of pitches or innings. He just basically referenced, hey, we'll see how it goes and how much stress he has to pitch under. It's really more about that, coming off an injury. Does he get through easy innings, or is it always runners on bases and those kind of things?
Santana turned and lobbed the ball toward Mauer and enjoys a light moment with Eaton, perhaps, or Mauer. Off the plate, 1-2.
Irvin's the kind of pitcher who doesn't give in a lot. He will stay away, or off the plate. If he thinks that you might commit and swing out of the zone, he won't give you a cookie very often.
Strike 3 in the outside corner. That'll bring up Abreu.
He's going away here. Just throws a little bit of a fastball that has a tail to it. Suzuki did a nice job of keeping that ball in the strike zone.
Here is Abreu. Hit by a Trevor May pitch late in the ball game last night. Apologized both after the game and again today for his reaction to being hit by a pitch. Up high, ball 1.
I never understood that myself.
The apology?
Yeah. I mean, whether you're a pitcher or the guy getting hit, if you feel that way at the time, let's just back out there. Play the game again the next day.
And on the outside corner.
Everybody understands the heat of the moment. So it's frustrating, I'm sure. And I imagine it hurt. Like Trevor May got him pretty good.
96 miles per hour on the hip. 1-1. Santana's been pretty good this year. He hasn't logged the innings, just 20 of them, 2 innings, and then the rains came in the opener in Baltimore. And then 6 innings, 7 innings, 5 innings. Total of 7 earned runs. Does not have a win yet this year. 1-2 to Abreu. Another soft toss to first.
Velasco tried to pitch Abreu away, and he did a good job. Abreu went down and kind of hooked a breaking ball that was well off the plate. A lot where Suzuki sitting right there. Same result. He stayed away.
And Arcia will fire to third. It looked like he was going to third, but he held up.
That was a pitcher's pitch, so that's why Trevor May wants to keep him honest. That's why pitching coach Neil Allen reminds everybody, you've got to straighten the guy up. Look at where this pitch is. And, you know, he's a big, strong guy, loves to extend his arms, but he still put the barrel of the bat on the ball and drove it down into the corner in left field. That just proves that you've got to stay on both sides of the plate if you want a half of it.
Both singles on 1-2 pitches, and now here's Todd Frazier. Struggling through an 0 for 19 slump. The average for Frazier below 200.
Does have the 7 home runs, but average, when you're in a 0 for 19, it's frustrating. You start thinking too much.
2 strikes. Santana gets ahead of this batter as well.
If you're a pitcher and you just notice how he reacted to that ball, there's no way you want to throw him anything off speed. He was so tardy on that swing. You just want to just rear back and let it fly again, because if you throw anything off speed, you're doing him a favor. You're going to give him a chance to catch up.
But in.
Good pitch right there. Backed it up with another fastball.
Favorable count for the pitcher, but the White Sox hits have come on this count. Santana trying to get a ground ball hit at somebody. He's got 1 ground ball double play on the season. Punch to right field. And Mastroianni's there for the catch out, number 2. That'll bring up Melky Cabrera. Cabrera is just punished Twins pitching this year. And he comes up in the first inning in a key spot. 8 hits, 28 at bats against Ervin Santana.
Melky's a guy that does very well with balls away from him. He's got super good hand-eye coordination. You can see his batting average in his last 5 Twins pitchers he's faced.
Missing 1-0 this year, 10 hits, 18 at bats. And Suzuki and Santana will have a chat. And Santana with a bit of a smile, as I think we saw Cabrera smiling out to the mound. One and 0. Chicago's left field. 19th pitch of Santana's first inning. Grounded foul, 1-1.
Cabrera, another thing that makes him such a good hitter is a lot of pitchers will try to pound him in. And they'll be borderline pitches, whether it's on the corner or off the plate, and he somehow is able to get the bat to the ball and pull it foul. He fights off those tough pitches and has a unique ability to get a pitch out over the plate that he can do something with.
Check to swing. No appeal, no swing. Much to the relief of the White Sox dugout.
On the side, you can see that if Park didn't swing, he didn't swing.
2-1. Laurie on deck. The Twins got a couple of hits, and then they got their 2 runs because Sale hit 2 batters and walked another, all with 2 out. Santana doesn't want a repeat of that performance. 3-1. And a walk loads him up for Laurie.
I'm sure Neil Allen, Paul Molitor are hoping that Ervin Santana would go out and have a pretty quick first inning. Pitch count's going to be a factor in this start for Ervin.
Now the tying run in scoring position. Laurie struggled against Santana. Just 2 hits and 17 at bats. Got a couple and left the bases full. Now Santana misses to Laurie, 1-0. Now Santana trying to leave the bases full here without any run scoring. Strike on the outside corner.
Had a long conversation with Brett Laurie before the game. I covered Brett the entire year when I worked up in Toronto. He really loves where he's at right now. Chicago, his team. Talked so many positives about what they're doing as a team.
A foul right into the mask of Suzuki. Bill Miller checks with the catcher. Make sure he's okay. Ouch.
He's taken so many of these.
Right to the middle of the mask. Remember when Mike Redmond was with the Twins? Every time there would be a swing on a pitch, and Redmond would duck his head. And we always thought that curious, but you see enough of these and you understand why Redmond ducked his head.
Well, they're calling the trainer out.
Yeah. Suzuki took that one square right in the middle of the match.
This might be a mandatory concussion test here.
Twins already, we're in the first inning. The Twins have already lost their first baseman, Byung-Ho Park, after being hit by a pitch. Suzuki curious and concerned about his catcher. Juan Centeno just called up yesterday. I wonder if they tailor questions that they ask for the concussion protocol depending on the play.
I don't. I think safety is the utmost concern.
It's the state flower of Hawaii.
Well, I'm sure there's some questions, but I don't think they ask them in the same sequence every single time just so he can pass.
Well, it looks like Suzuki's going to stay in the game.
I don't know if there's ever any doubt. I mean, he's the kind of guy you have to drag him off in the stretcher. That one was square into his face mask, and it had to ring the bell a little bit.
Count is 1-2 to Laurie, and if this is the last pitch of the inning, Twins fans will be happy, and Kurt Suzuki will have a chance to shake the cobwebs free in the dugout. 1-2 to Laurie. They've got to block a pitch in the dirt. It's 2-2.
Minnesota State High School has a mandatory rule that all coaches have to pass a concussion exam.
How to administer the...
Exactly, and in order for me to help out with my son's team, I had to take that course. And it does explain a lot about concussions that I wasn't aware of and how serious they can be.
They've been playing about a half hour here in this first inning. More base runners than batters retired. 2-2 to Brett Laurie.
high pitch count for Irvin through 1 inning. This will be his 28th pitch. Sale had a high pitch count, so long first inning here at U.S. Cellular.
Another 2-2. Struck him out. And Suzuki steps on home plate for the force play. And Santana leads the bases full in the first. Greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Look at some headlines from early games today around Major League Baseball. Clayton Kershaw striking out 10 Toronto Blue Jays. Casey Fiend, by the way, has to go to Toronto to join his new ball club. Mike Pelfrey gave up home runs to the first 2 batters he faced and settled down for a while, then kind of fell apart again. And the Tigers gave up 5 home runs and lost to the Rangers. Here's Danny Santana leading off the second for the Twins. Darren Mastroianni, Eduardo Nunez will follow. 1-1 now to Santana. Santana looking for his first hit against a left-handed pitcher. And he takes a breaking ball and strike 2. Just missed. Bill Miller flinched a little bit. 2-2.
Danny did not get a lot of at-bats last year against Chris Sale. Chases a fastball up out of the zone.
1 down, and let's check in with Audra Martin.
Guys, anytime a guy is called up to the big leagues, you would assume that they would be super eager to get into the lineup as soon as possible. That wasn't exactly the case with Darren Mastroianni. I talked to him earlier today, and he actually told me that he was relieved that he wasn't in the lineup yesterday. Why? Well, simply because of the emotions. Look at his journey. He has worked so hard the last 2 years to get back into the big leagues, and now that it's happened with the team that he used to play for, the city that he lives in with his wife and his newborn son, he said he was actually glad he wasn't in the lineup, gave him a chance to soak it all in and focus on being a spark today for this team that needs it so bad. Guys?
Well, thank you, Audra. Mastroianni with a dribbler to first. Abreu makes the play. 2 down quickly here in the second. That'll bring up Nunez.
Mastroianni told Corey Provis, the home radio guy, that there is no way he was going to swing at the first pitch off his Chris Sale. He waited too long to get back in the big leagues, and he was not gonna. He was gonna really relish that at bat.
I don't know if anybody relishes at bats against Chris Sale, but I think I know what he meant. Strike 1. Nunez popped the second his first time.
I think if you're a kid, you don't get excited to get your first at bat, especially a guy that's had a taste of the big leagues and it's been a dry spell getting back up there.
Nunez pops it up. Abreu crosses the line. And a much better second inning for Chris Sale as the Twins go quickly. 1, 2, 3. Each team left the bases full in the first inning. The Twins got a couple of runs against Chris Sale, and now Santana hoping for a better second inning like Chris Sale experienced in his half of the second inning. Garcia takes low, ball one. It'll be Avisail Garcia, Diana Navarro, and Tyler Saladino in the Chicago second. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Kind of a pivotal year for Garcia. He's a part of a very successful team, but he's got a different role. Instead of playing in right field, he's their principal designated hitter. Chopper towards short. Nunez fires on a run. Safe at first. A slow bouncer, and Nunez fired it over to Mauer, but not in time. A leadoff hit.
Garcia's had success against Santana coming into today's game. He's 4 for 8. You can see he just did beat that there, so that's his 5th hit off Bert Irvin. And for a big man, he moves pretty well.
White Sox got a leadoff single against Irvin Santana in the first, and Amit got as far as third base. Now Diana Navarro. We've seen that from Santana this year. Not necessarily a whole bunch of strikeouts, but a lot of swings and misses. 2 strikeouts in the first. He's got 20 on the season in 21 innings. Now inside 1-1.
Twins playing Navarro straight up all the way around infield and outfield.
Five swings and misses for the Chicago batters against Santana. But a gap in left center field won't be caught. Garcia around second on his way to third. It goes to the warning track and they'll wave him around. Nunez drops the ball, but Navarro holds up with an RBI double, and it's 2-1. There would not have been a play at the plate. Navarro driving one to the gap in left center field, scoring Garcia from first base.
Irvin Santana throws a changeup, but the ball is up right out over the plate, and Navarro does a great job of staying back and then going with the pitch. The ball was away. He just went with it. Garcia didn't get a great jump at first base, but had a feeling that Joe Ewing was going to wave him around, so he made a big wide turn at third and kept the motor running.
4 hits and a walk from the first 5 batters against Irvin Santana. Now Tyler Saladino. 6 hits, 30 at bats on the season. Down on the way, ball 1. Surprising that Santana isn't razor sharp here. He was handed a 2-0 lead. He's thrown 36 pitches, only 2 strikes.
Irvin did throw a simulated game down in Houston, faced his own battery mates, or excuse me, his own teammates. But it's awful difficult to have that actually be anywhere close to a real live game situation.
Pitches from Santana, and 30 of them from the stretch. And strike 3 and 2. We're looking for the first out of the second inning. On deck. Twins fans joined the Heart of 29, a year-long campaign to help support the American Heart Association. You can purchase a special Carew's Corner ticket package Fridays in May and receive a Rod Carew Twins jersey. Fans can also join or pledge Rod's team at the Twin Cities Heart Walk. For more details, visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on upcoming events on the Hot Topics bar. A non-productive out. We'll see if that is a factor here in the second inning, with Eaton taking low, ball one. Eaton single, got as far as third base his first time up.
I think there's a noticeable difference, not only the fact that the White Sox are in first place and playing very good baseball, but you don't see how they grind out at bats.
Fly ball center field, and Santana going back and making the catch on the warning track. A rather curious way of getting there. He turned his back one way, then the other, and eventually found the ball and made the catch 2 away.
Ball had some hang time. Carried out towards center field a lot further, I think, than Danny Santana originally anticipated. It's hit high. See Danny going back to his right, and he looks over the other shoulder.
So Navarro, who didn't advance to third during the Saladino at bat, now gets there after the deep fly ball. Austin Jackson, the batter, with the tying run at third. Swing and a miss. Seen plenty of fastball from Santana, 94 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's where he's going to top out. That's as hard as he can throw, and he has made some very good pitchers' pitches.
5, but inside. One and one to Jackson. Check the swing, 2-1. Inside corner.
Irvin's doing a little bit better job of hitting both sides of the plate now. He's not staying where he's more and more predictable. The hitters are going to have to adjust.
2-2. Swung out, missed. Santana gives up a couple of hits to start the second. The White Sox get one but leave one.
Baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com.
2-1 Twins. First lead they've had on the White Sox this year. Sanford Health injury report. Eduardo Escobar with a groin injury suffered last night on the disabled list. And then today in the first inning, Byung-Ho Park took a pitch against his knee, and he has a bruised right knee. And day to day. Here is Sano, then Plouffe, then Mauer. And first pitch strike to Miguel Sano, who started the 2-run first with a 2-out single to right. And now 0-2.
Sano continues to see the ball well off Chris Sale.
5 for 6.
5 for 6.
Up high. 50th pitch coming up for Sale. Strike 3 at the belt and away. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Lowest ERA since mid-April last year. Jake Arrieta for the Cubs. Chris Sale with a 0.61.
4 out of 5 guys are playing in this city. 2 for the Cubs and 2 for the White Sox.
There's Trevor Plouffe. Check swing on that one right in front of Mauer. It's the second close call we've had with the Twins batters. Check swings.
Drives hitting coaches crazy. They never want to see you take a check swing. Commit and take a rip at it.
Well, I'm just concerned about the safety. It almost happened the Cubs game I went to Thursday night where the on deck hitter nearly got hit in the head by a check swing. 1-1. Now a swing and a miss. 1-2.
We're talking about the safety net here. They have added a larger net behind home plate as it's extended about 20 feet both down the left field and right field line, but it isn't over the dugouts yet. And there are cables in place that, and some people are assuming that by the end of next year that will be a lot like Target Field where they put them above the dugouts.
2-2 to Plouffe. On the outside corner, another call, third strike. This time a breaking ball. Nibbling the edge, 2 down.
Chris Sale starting to get it dialed in. A little backdoor slider there that Trevor Plouffe kind of gave up on.
Soup.com trivia, who are the only 2 pitchers to lose 5 games in a season against the Twins.
I hope it wasn't me.
I don't think you lost 5 games to the Twins.
No.
Strike 1 to Mauer. Joe just 8 for 37 against Sale. One and one. It might be somebody back in the day when you played the other 9 teams in the league 18 times. One year where the Twins played the Red Sox 18 times and won 17 of them. That was 1965. The Twins were pretty good that year. So maybe somebody like Bill Monbouquet. Tapper right side, and Sale has plenty of time to make the play. Back-to-back quick 1-2-3 innings for Sale after a ragged first inning.
That guy, he is
magic.
El Magic.
You know, when he takes the mound, he's one of the better competitors.
Steady, workhorse, and works his butt off.
An absolute bulldog on the mound.
He just comes right at you, and whatever he has that day, he figures out a way to get the job done.
We know every time he has the ball, we got a really good chance to win.
And delivering ball one to Jose Abreu, leading off the third for Chicago. As we had told you in the bottom of the second, just about every one of Santana's pitches have been thrown from the stretch. And now he falls behind 2-0.
At least he came a little bit in there. You see how Abreu is almost diving out there. He's had so many pitches down and away from Velasco and now here from Ervin Santana.
Bouncer to second, looks harmless enough. Picked up by Polanco, one down. We'll bring up Todd Frazier. Oh, by the way, just to ease your mind, because I know you were worried about this, you are not the answer to the trivia question. The Twins did beat you 5 times. They did beat you 3 times in 1988. But you won your first 11 starts in Minnesota.
Yeah, so I was still ahead.
Yes, you were. Very much so. At Met Stadium. That had to be a thrill for you to take the mound for the Tigers at the old Met.
It was surreal for me. It really was. That's where the game, the love of baseball, really started blossoming for me, was at the old Met.
How many games a year would you go to?
I would say we'd probably go to half a dozen a year. I always sat along the third base bleachers there.
Any particular reason?
I don't know. That's where Dad bought the tickets. But we'd always get there early and for BP, and brother and I'd run underneath the bleachers in left field, hoping to find a Reese baseball.
Reese baseball? Deep to left to the corner. Tie game. Todd Frazier's 8th of the year, snapping an 0 for 20 slump.
Ervin trying to work ahead, challenging the hitters. He's got a 1-run lead, so he's, the game plan is go right after him. Todd Frazier able to get this pitch middle half in and just hooked it. Hitting coaches want you to barrel up the ball, and he's got his hands out, pulled his hands in, and still put the good part of the bat on the ball, pulled it down the left field line.
Melky Cabrera drew a first-inning walk, and he takes strike 1. 5 hits for the White Sox. Now in a tie game, Santana hits the inside. That's 0-2. 1-2. Cabrera drew a walk to fill the bases in the first inning. And eventually Santana was able to strike out Laurie to leave the bases full. Twins in a mid at bat shift, now swinging Nunez both to one side, now back to the other. So a correction in the shift with the 1-2 count. They moved him over to one side, then moved him back over.
I'm not privy to the spreadsheets on Melky Cabrera, but I watched him enough to know that he will shoot the ball the other way. I don't know if they really want to play him strictly to pull unless they're pitching in.
It's a right at Polanco. 2 down. We'll bring up Laurie. The Twins flex plan gives you the flexibility to choose your games and your number of seats. Choose in advance, even the day of the game, so don't plan, flex plan. Go to twinsbaseball.com/flex or call 800-33-TWINS to learn more. Laurie, the batter, in a tie game. Foul back. I grew up in the outstate, and I remember the first time seeing the game at Met Stadium. We were getting to our seats in the upper deck and seeing the green grass. I watched the Twins on TV, but on black and white television. So to see, the color of Metropolitan Stadium is very memorable. Foul down the left field line.
Well, the thing that I remember most about Met Stadium was the dirt was not the color that you see today, that reddish brown with the dry up dust. It was some of the richest topsoil you would see. It was black dirt.
2 strikes. Check swing. Did he go? Yes. Strike 3. Laurie strikes out again, but Todd Frazier with a home run to tie the game at 2. Chris Sale had a rocky start against the Twins. He's got a couple of runs in the first, but he's retired 7 men in a row. And Frazier tying the game up for the White Sox with a home run. Oswaldo Arcia drew a bases loaded walk to quotation marks drive in the first run. It'll be Arcia, Polanco, and Suzuki. Ball 1.
Sale had a rough go there. Base hit to Sano, then a double by Trevor Plouffe, a hit batter by Young Park. Arcia walked, and another hit batter by Jorge Polanco. So that inning was not a pretty one, the first inning for Chris Sale.
Last year, club record 274 strikeouts for Sale in 208 and 2/3 innings. Working ball, and Arcia takes 2-1.
I think Chris Sale was on a mission last year with strikeouts, partly due to his defense behind him.
Jam shot and a dribbler. Nice stop at third. Frazier comes up firing. What a play to his left. Todd Frazier with a great play to take a hit away from Arcia.
Tremendous range going to his left on that particular play. Todd Frazier was off the line, but he had to go quite a ways to his left. I didn't even know if he was going to get a glove on this ball. Watch how far he goes to his left. 3 or 4 steps, dives, comes up, and that's how the play was made. He came up very quick, throws an accurate throw, and a nice stretch by Abreu on the other end.
And now Polanco hit by a pitch to drive in a run. Very high, ball 1. We've seen him make great plays going to his right, and now a really good one going to his left.
Defense. I think that gives Chris Sale a lot more confidence to throw the ball over, not be as fine with pitches. His pitch count in general has been lower this year.
It's down the left field line. It'll be chased by Cabrera. He won't get there. Polanco around first, digging for second, and standing up, he gets in. Stand up double with 1 out here in the 4th.
Polanco getting a chance tonight. Playing second base for Brian Dozier. Gets a fastball away that he barrels up. And Melky Cabrera doing a pretty good job lumbering over to get this, but Polanco, right out of the box, he was thinking 2 bases. A good throw. I don't think still would have got him because Melky took too long to get to the ball, but he made a good throw.
And now Suzuki. Rounded to toward third, and now Polanco is out at second. He took 2 steps toward third, and Saladino found Laurie to put the tag on him.
Just a mistake the Twins can't be doing. Paul Maurer, I know, is frustrated with that. The ball's hit to his right, and he's got to freeze right there. He takes those 2 extra steps. Brett Laurie sneaks in behind him. Saladino heads up right there, knowing that those extra 2 steps are going to cost him an out. Jorge Polanco just couldn't get back quick enough.
Twins may contemplate a challenge here. Apparently not. A bit of a delay. These are just fundamental base running mistakes that the Twins are playing or making, and Suzuki at first, 2 down.
We were talking about it in last night's game. The little things during the course of a ball game. Defense is such a huge part of it. And that was a mental mistake. It wasn't necessarily a physical mistake. Jorge Polanco has plenty of speed.
But you need to be aware of where the shortstop is. You really need to pay attention these days with all the shifting going on. It's worth a look over each shoulder on every pitch now to find out where the shortstop is.
It's one thing great about working with kids is I always tell them baseball's one game that it's always involved thinking. Every single pitch, every single position has to be thinking.
Now ball called caught by Abreu, and the Twins are down on the board. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. Tied at 2 going to the bottom of the 4th inning. Santana's yet to have a 1-2-3 inning. He'll face the bottom third of the White Sox batting order. He delivers low to Avisail Garcia. Then Dioner Navarro and Tyler Saladino. Garcia singled to lead off the second. Navarro doubled him home. White Sox got a run in the second and then tied it on Frazier's home run in the third. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Foul over by the Chicago dugout.
We talked about it last night, how the White Sox acquired Austin Jackson late this spring, winter, I guess. And they put Adam Eaton out in right field, which is where Garcia had been playing quite a bit of. And the speed difference of those two guys, Garcia had a plus throwing, a rocket actually. But the fact that he can't move out there very well, at least didn't react to baseballs. He's got adequate speed for a guy his size, but they've really, really made a plus move defensively with him DHing primarily.
Nunez to Bauer, 1-0. Talking with Eaton about that today, about the transition for him from center field to right field, how quickly he's embraced it, adapted to it. He said he hadn't played any right field really, except back in high school, and so it was kind of a new position for him. But he says he just feels comfortable out there. Has problems, as we've seen Miguel Sano. The toughest balls are the ones hit back behind you on either shoulder. Here's Navarro.
I think the subtle differences between outfield positions. Center fielder is a guy typically with the best speed and best reaction time. Gets good reads. He's got to go left and right, and he's going to have balls tailing away from him. The left fielder usually has balls that are tailing toward the line. Right fielder, the same thing. Balls tend to tail toward the foul line, but I think it's easier to get good reads in left field and right field because the balls typically aren't coming directly at you. Once in a while they do, but you don't have an umpire or second baseman in your way, so you're always moving to get out of their way to see the reaction to the ball right off the crack of the bat.
This one hooked to the corner, and Mastroianni will hope to retrieve it. Navarro around first, and he's got a double, his second double of the ball game against Santana. Couple of nice plays, and all three outfielders actually made a nice running catch.
Now this was last night. Adam Eaton going to his left, and then down the other corner, Elkie Cabrera takes a hit away from Joe Mauer. Center field, Young Oak Park hits one. Austin Jackson runs a long, long way, crashes into the pole, but hangs on. And those three catches saved what could be multi-run innings.
Saladino, the batter, with Navarro at second. Check swing strike. Saladino came up. White Sox had a run, and Navarro at second, nobody out. Saladino hit a ground ball to the shortstop, didn't advance the runner. Contrasting with what we saw in the top half of the inning, the runner stayed at second base. Ball lifted foul and out of play. Navarro went to third on a deep fly ball to center, but never scored. 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. A really good night last night in that regard. The late damage done with 2 outs. Which did some damage with 2 outs as well. Their 2 runs today come with 2 outs in an inning. Suzuki with a block. Out hit 6-3. He's getting their runs on a bases loaded walk, a bases loaded hit batter. Chopped third. Tough play for Plouffe, and he can't make the play. And Saladino will get an infield hit, first and third, 1 away.
I was almost going to mention it, but with 2 strikes, I figured, well, now Trevor Plouffe has to play back, but with no strikes, Trevor Plouffe was playing very deep, and it seemed like Saladino runs fairly well. All he had to do was drop one down, and he would have had a bunt hit. Instead, it's a swinging bunt. How deep Trevor Plouffe was there. He had come a long way. By the time he actually, it's a do or die, bang, bang play. He's got to barehand it, make a throw on the run. I'm not sure he would have got Saladino anyway had he fielded it cleanly.
Eaton's hit the ball hard to left for a single in the first, and to center on a Deep fly to Santana in the second. Off the outside corner, ball 1.
Some activity now down in the Twins bullpen. 75 pitches for Ervin Santana. Just one out here with runners on first and third. I think this is a new look White Sox. They're going to make every inning matter. There's no freebies with this club anymore. They grind it out. I think they've got the confidence. Just 20 games, 20 wins into the season can really give a team an attitude adjustment.
2-0. Called up today, Brandon Kintzler warming up in the Twins pen.
You're going to throw him to the Wolves. Get your feet wet, kid.
Pat Dean started in Rochester, but he started a couple of days ago, and the Twins don't want to use him yet tonight. 2-2. Excuse me, 2-0, now 2-1. Twins playing back for a double play grounder, but Eaton worked very, very well. Tough guy to double up. Mentioned last night he's hit into 3 double plays on the season.
Was a little bit younger, he would lay down a bunt and try to use the element of surprise. Got a few bunts that way.
3-1.
Even in situations where runners are in scoring position, but I think he's got a better feel for driving the ball now as he kind of turns the corner into his veteran years. And he's a pretty good contact hitter.
3-1. Plouffe in for some words with Santana. Austin Jackson, the on-deck hitter, and Santana has struck him out twice.
He's just had very good numbers against Austin Jackson.
Runner goes, and the pitch is outside, ball 4. And now they're loaded up with 1 down. After the first out, Navarro doubles, Saladino singles, and now Eaton walks on 5 pitches.
Second walk of the ball game.
Budweiser Roof Deck is the ultimate Minnesota Twins outdoor experience. Roof Deck is available for your group of 250 guests on both Independence and Labor Day weekend. Clients and staff will love the sweeping views, amenities, large fire, everything you need for mixing game time with social time. TwinsBaseball.com/groups. Learn more about how your group can experience the Budweiser Roof Deck. Neil Allen to the mound. This might be Santana's last hitter. Jose Abreu is the on-deck batter.
Austin Jackson will expand the strike zone. He chases a lot of breaking balls, and that's how Ervin has got him to swing. The first time, or the last time up, and took a called third strike on the outside corner the first time.
Fielders playing about even with their bases. Mauer maybe a step ahead of the first base bag, and if they get the ground ball, they might come home. Jackson grounded into 2 double plays. That kicks away from Suzuki, but Navarro holds up. But now the count's 2-0. No place to put him.
Again, catching a break there. Navarro not the quickest guy, being a catcher at third base. Well, probably kicked away far enough for a lot of guys. And it would have been a tough play for Suzuki because he would have had to throw the ball back behind him and try to throw a strike to Ervin Santana, who was covering home.
2-0 to Austin Jackson. Santana just walked Eaton. He's in danger of walking in a run. Also walked Cabrera in the first inning. 4-pitch walk. And the Twins trail the White Sox now 3-2, and now Abreu comes up with the bases loaded. We'll see if the Twins make a move. They'll have to come get Ervin Santana, who leaves the game having walked the last 2 batters.
Fastball away just off the plate. Suzuki trying to do his best at framing that ball, but it was off the plate. Foxtrax indicates that.
Foxtrax presented by Dodge. Santana got the first out, then Navarro hooked a double into the corner. A number for a hit off the bat of Saladino, and then 2 walks on 9 pitches, and Santana checks out, trailing 3-2. Base runners in every inning. Checks out of the ball game, trailing 3-2. Now Kinsler comes in for his Twins debut. Bases loaded, 1 out, and Jose Abreu in the box. Kinsler, over the years, 172 relief appearances for the Brewers, and this is his Twins debut. Missing ball 1. Career numbers pretty good. Pitch had some injury issues, didn't pitch well in 7 games for the Brewers last year, but overall 10-9 ERA at 3.38. 1-0 to Abreu. Now Kinsler having a hard time throwing strikes. 51 walks in 181 innings, so control's not been a big issue for him.
In effect, Kinsler has basically taken Casey Fien's spot, and Pat Dean will end up taking Tommy Malone's spot in the bullpen.
Abreu coils a 94 mile-per-hour fastball, gets a swing and a miss. Kinsler started pro ball in 2004. Former St. Paul Saint, pitched for them in 2009. Two and 1. Chopper 2-2. In his 181 major league innings, 134 strikeouts.
Well, there's nothing like coming into a game with bases loaded.
Two and 2. Swing and a miss. He's back from 2-0 to strike out Abreu. Talking about Kinsler today, Paul Molitor said he's a sinker ball artist. And you can see that ball sinking out of the strike zone.
Well, you got Abreu to chase out of the zone. Throw a ball down, and it's got a little bit of a break at the end. It's clearly out of the zone. So a good pitch in a tough situation.
Todd Frazier, who homered to left to tie the game his last time up. And the first pitch strike. Molitor was saying, given the makeup of the bullpen, guys like May and Jepson and Tonkin, they're more fly ball pitchers, and so Kinsler gives them a little more flexibility, the option of maybe getting a ground ball when they needed one. That was the hope in the Abreu at bat, but they'll take the strikeout, particularly if he can come back and get Frazier.
It's kind of funny because when you think of sinker ball pitchers, you don't think of strikeouts. You want the guy to swing on top, hit the top half of the ball, get a ground ball out. Kinsler comes in a huge situation right there. This game is still well within reach, and you want to try to strand all those runners. Bases loaded, strikes out Abreu.
1-1 to Frazier. Checked his swing, 2-1.
One out away here from escaping a lot of damage.
Twins, when the game was still close, found that situation late last night. Fernando Abad had the comebacker and he couldn't find it at his feet. It just kind of, the game just kind of fell apart after that. 2-1. Tapper towards short. Plouffe guns it across, and a nice job by Kinsler in his Twins debut, getting the 3 and 4 batters for the White Sox, keeping this a 3-2 game.
Right now, Twins fans, don't forget at Twins home games, bring your Circle Me signs, and if you get circled, you may find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery's winner circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery. We're going to show you a little spreadsheet on pitch selection for Chris Sale here after this pitch.
Inside to Mastroeni.
Talking about his fastball, and you know, he was a guy that had a lot of strikeouts last year. And by intent, talking to Robin Ventura, Sale kind of got caught up into it. His defense let him down so many times that he started thinking that he had to strike out everybody. And Robin told me that he thought he kind of got caught up with it, but he's kind of pounding everybody with more fastballs than he did last year. Robin Ventura.
2-2 to Mastroeni.
And he's depending on that defense more than he did a year ago, trusting the guys behind him.
3-2.
Ball club just spotted him a 1-run lead. Irvin Santana out of the game, so Sale wants to get on track here.
Loaded an off-speed pitch over the outside corner. One down.
This is over his whole career, the pitch percentages that he's thrown. 54% fastballs, sliders at 24%, and the changeup about 20%. In this season alone, you can see how the fastball selection has climbed. 62% of his pitches have been fastballs this year. So depending more this year on the fastball.
Here's Nunez. Popped it up twice. Once to the second baseman, once in foul ground to the first baseman. One strike. Nunez will be the primary shortstop for the Twins in Eduardo Escobar's absence. Popped up into the seats, 0-2.
Ryan Dozier expected to play maybe in tomorrow's game. Jorge Polanco might get a couple reps over at shortstop, but Nunez still getting his share of hits.
2 strikes. Back just beneath us.
Eduardo was hitless in today's game. He doubled and scored a run in yesterday's game.
One and 2. And an awkward swing, another off-speed pitch. This one at 80 miles per hour. So we just told you he's relied more on his fastball this year, and he's gotten 2 strikeouts with the slop. 2 down, and that'll bring up Sano. Tomorrow, wake up to a pair of heavyweight wars. Former champions and knockout masters finally meet in the octagon. That's an 8-sided ring. You know that? Alistair Overeem takes on Andrei Orlovsky. Plus, it's a battle of the giants between Bigfoot and Struve. A special time, 10 a.m. Central tomorrow morning, only on FS1 or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. 1 strike to Sano. Single to right, scored on the first. Now a foul tip, strike 2.
Since the first inning, Chris Sale has really settled in here.
40 strikeouts for Sano in 101 at-bats.
Just under 40%.
That's right. Check to swing. And Bill Miller didn't ring him up. No appeal to Pat Hober. Outside 3-2 with Proof on deck. So he's retired 12 of 13. And Sano aimed for the seats with that swing, fouled it back. Struck him out. He struck out the side in the 5th. All on off-speed stuff. And the White Sox have a 3-2 lead. Kinsler starting the bottom of the 5th inning. Cabrera with a foul, 1 strike. Just off the outside corner. Another ball game, 4th in a row, where no Twins starting pitcher has gotten an out in the 6th inning. The ball hit to center. Santana coming in, and he's got to play it on a hop. Leadoff single for Melky Cabrera. In the last 4 ball games for the Twins, remembering they had that uplifting game beating Dallas Keuchel. Show you some Pepsi fans of the game. Cool night in Chicago, hoping the Twins can even the series in a game apiece. So they beat Dallas Keuchel in Houston, and in the 4 games since, they've gotten a total of 13 innings from their starting pitchers. Alex Meyer had a short start. Phil Hughes had a 2-inning start. Ricky Nolasco, the Iron Man of the group, he went 5. And
disheartening because in the last 2 games, the Twins have given up 26 runs.
Right. I don't know that Santana had a very long leash here tonight anyway. He hadn't pitched in 2.5 weeks. And
I don't know if anybody really knew what to expect out of Irvin. The fact that he didn't go on rehab, his last time he pitched was April 19th in Milwaukee.
And now a strike 2-1 to Brett Lawrie.
So command was a little off. A cool night here in Chicago.
White Sox have hits in 11 of the 13 innings so far in this series. And Kinsler will try to pitch around Cabrera's leadoff single here in the 5th. High pop-up short center field. Polanco makes the catch. 1 down. The team ERA has been bloated now to the point where only the Astros have a higher team ERA than the Twins. Twins for a while were in the middle of the pack and got encouraging starts, but now a 4.65 team ERA with the blowout losses on this road trip.
The real trickle effect of this, and when I say this, I mean the starters not getting deeper into the game, is the bullpen has to make up for it, and they're getting a lot of work out there.
Strike 1.
Of course, they've added a couple new fresh arms in Kinsler and Pat Dean.
One strike to Avisail Garcia. Centeno is in catching. Just noticed that. Kurt Suzuki, who took a foul ball off the mask in the 1st inning, made 1 plate appearance. And Centeno is in the ball game catching now in the 5th. One and 1. Showed you a graphic in our pregame show about all the players from the opening day roster who aren't here for one reason or another. And in today's game, the Twins have lost Byung-Ho Park, a bruised knee. The hope is, of course, he'll be ready to go tomorrow. And now Kurt Suzuki out of the ball game in the middle innings. 1 and 1. The most disconcerting thing for that is we've watched Suzuki over the years, and for him to leave the ball game, it must be something of some magnitude. Byron Buxton was in center at the start of the year. Casey Fiend's now a member of the Dodgers. John Ryan Murphy is in Rochester. Tommy Malone going to Rochester. And then 3 players from the opening 25-man roster on the disabled list. 2-1 to Garcia. 2.
I think the intention was to maybe set Kurt Suzuki tomorrow, the day game. He's got a few games in a row, but maybe this whole thing kind of shook him up. That foul tip was a direct blow. Maybe he'll be ready to go tomorrow, maybe not.
Snap bat. 1 and 2. Kinsler gets a double play and faces just 3 men in the 5th. Field here at this ballpark too hasn't quite greened up yet. May 9th is Scrubs Night at Target Field. Limited number of Scrubs Night theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and twin scrub bottoms. Go to twinsbaseball.com/scrubs. Learn more about the Scrubs Night theme night offer. Middle of the Twins lineup: Plouffe, Bauer, and Arcia. With the substitutions made because of injury, Mauer and Centeno into the ballgame. 2 bench players available: Rosario and Dozier, whom the Twins don't want to use because of a hamstring strain. Plouffe doubled and scored in the 1st, and he takes strike 1. 28,049 the paid attendance tonight here in Chicago. 2 great baseball teams, and they're both here in Chicago this weekend. Cubs playing the Nationals starting on Thursday. White Sox have been here.
And the Twins landed Wednesday night for the off day here Thursday. There were 5 baseball teams in town. That doesn't happen every day.
Cubs and the Nationals, Red Sox and White Sox, and the Twins. 1 and 2 to Plouffe, trying to get a rally started in the 6th. 2 and 2.
We talked about Trevor Plouffe doubling and scoring in the 1st inning. That was his first hit since he returned from the disabled list.
Foul. Popped up short left. Be a long run for Cabrera. He was back by the warning track. And he comes in, makes the catch with Saladino in the vicinity. 1 away. up Mauer. Joe was supposed to get the day off today, but in the first inning, Young-Ho Park got hit on the right knee by a Chris Sale slider. He stayed in the game momentarily and then left. Stayed on the bases, I should say, and then got as far as third base and came out of the game.
Joe's on-base streak ended last night, and with Chris Sale, the tough left-hander pitching, Paul Molitor gave him the day off initially. But I don't know if there's any days off anymore in baseball for guys on the bench. There's just so many pitchers that they're limited to what they can do with bench players.
This was something that was decided on the plane ride to Houston, that Joe would get a day off, in part because the other time they tried to give him a day off, it was the 16-inning game, and Joe spent the first 8 innings on the bench and the next 8 innings in the game. Line foul, and it's 1-2. That is a foul ball, not by much. So even though he's been given a couple of starts off, this is the 30th game of the year for the Twins, and Joe's played in all of them. And Presley warming up. Twins have gotten 5 outs from Brandon Kintzler in his Twins debut.
It wasn't that long ago that Joe was the everyday catcher for the Twins, and because of concussions, wondered if he would ever be able to play that many games in a row again. But he's had such a good start to his season. Paul's been kind of forced to keep his bat in the lineup, and he's a lot healthier getting rest, switching first base with Young-Ho Park.
Mauer mutters to Bill Miller as he walks away. 2 down.
8th strikeout for Chris Sale. Borderline pitch there. Let's see what Foxtrax says about it. Part of the baseball got that down and away quadrant.
As disappointing as his year was last year, Mauer last year played in 158 games and had nearly 600 at bats. 2 down, and now Arcia takes strike 1. Arcia got credit for a run batted in with a bases loaded walk in the first. Then he hit a ground ball to Frazier. Frazier turned in a nice play to throw him out, leading off the 4th inning.
Sale now with 1 pitch over that 100 mark. He can go 115 or so.
Ball, and it's 1-2.
Really been on cruise control since that erratic first inning.
The Twins got 2. In fact, Sale gave them 2 runs with the walk and the hit batter. They just were 1 hit away from putting up a bigger number in that first inning. 1-2. Arcia takes up high. 2-2. Tapper foul. Two and 2. That one poked towards left. And another 1-2-3 inning for Chris Sale. He's retired 16 of the last 17 batters. Cubs, of course, haven't won a World Series in more than 100 years, and the White Sox went that long before winning one in 2005, or almost that long. And you can see the reason why here in Chicago they're imagining a World Series that might pit the White Sox against the Cubs.
That would be remarkable. It always seems like the White Sox have been the black sheep in the family here in Chicago. Cubs fans always optimistic, looking forward, and yet the White Sox have won a World Series. And Cubs are hot, White Sox are hot. I'm not sure the White Sox are getting the love they should be getting in this city right now. But we have a pretty good crowd here tonight.
Ryan Presley, the new pitcher. Ball one, now strike one as he pitches to Dioner Navarro, who has a pair of doubles tonight.
Brandon Kinsler goes an inning and 2/3, just gives up the one hit, struck out a hitter, so he did a nice job in his first relief appearance for the Twins.
Kept the Twins in the game with the White Sox taking a 3-2 lead on the bases loaded walk. Ball rocketed to center, and Navarro, a tough guy to get out for the Twins here. He's got 3 hits here tonight.
All 3 of them hit hard, 2 doubles, and now this single right up the middle.
Darrell Boston at first base, the coach for the White Sox. Now Tyler Saladino.
Jimmy Rollins was brought over, the veteran shortstop, switch hitter, but Saladino, I think, has kind of taken over, you know, the youth movement and given him the opportunity.
Ball one.
Jimmy Rollins brings some veteran leadership over, so he can do a lot even if he's not playing from a leadership standpoint.
1-0 to Saladino, threatened to bunt on the first pitch. Plouffe on the edge of the grass at third. Bauer, of course, holding the runner. Presley was telling me about his experience last night when the bench is cleared. You know, for the relief pitchers, it's a bit of a challenge. In the case of the Twins, the door was locked out there in the bullpen. They had a bunch of Twins relievers that were, you know, nostrils were flaring. They wanted to get out on the field, and they had to wait a while for the door to get unlocked. 1-1. Squaring to bunt, and a bunt. Centeno will fire to second. Low throw dug out by Nunez. Good play by Nunez with Centeno delivering a low throw, and now they're going to ask about the slide at second base and whether there might be a double play called here. And they're going to call in the second base umpire, Brian Knight. It's the first time in a Twins game that we have had the slide issue at second base brought into play.
I don't know what they're going to decide here, but in reality, the ball was in the dirt. Nunez did a good job of just getting, you know, picking the ball.
And they call the double play.
Yeah. Well, you can see the slide. He's got to go into the bag. I don't see what he did.
Yeah, I don't.
I think
this just doesn't look right. That was a pop-up slide at second base. And they're going to call a double play.
I just don't get this. I don't get this at all for a long time.
Oh, they're calling that the bunt hit the batter. That's what it is. Okay, I feel better about that.
It wasn't about the slide at all.
No. And Centeno was able to make the play at second base, but turns out there will be no play at second base. Saladino is out, catcher unassisted for running into his own bunt. And Navarro still at first with one down. Here's Eaton. Ball one. Eaton with a single and a walk. Could be 2. 1, 2, and Adam Eaton has bounced into his 4th double play of the year. Twins end the 6th inning as they did the 5th with a ground ball double play. Story of the game, and 3 of the runs scoring with bases loaded, walks, and hit batters.
Chris Sale walked a couple and hit a couple all in the 1st inning. The Twins scored 2 runs, and then Ervin Santana giving up a couple hits. And he struggled with his command. That was Todd Frazier right there, turning on an inside fastball. Walk right there to Austin Jackson. Scores the 3rd run of the game. Now it ended for Ervin Santana.
Chicago starter Chris Sale is still out there. And he will pitch to the bottom 3rd of the Twins lineup, which right now means Jorge Polanco, Juan Centeno, and Danny Santana.
106 pitches for Sale, but we mentioned that he will be able to pitch 115, 120. He's had 112 this year, I guess. I thought it was 114.
Pitches up to Polanco, who's the only guy to reach against Sale since the 1st inning. Dropped a double down the left field line. And now 2-0. Sale had a 1-2-3 second, a 1-2-3 third, 5th, and 6th innings.
Chris has pitched or thrown at least 100 pitches in every one of his starts this year.
Fastball and a strike. Polanco trying to get aboard here. On the outside corner, 2-2. Polanco looks back at Bill Miller.
Well, I'm not sure what part of the ball caught the plate there.
There's a breaking ball and a called 3rd strike. Going back to what has racked up most of his strikeouts here tonight, the off-speed stuff.
A breaking ball, backdoor slider right there to Polanco, and it started way off the plate, but caught dead center of the plate. Just froze Jorge Polanco.
This is Juan Centeno's first American League at bat. Total of 61 at bats with the Mets and the Brewers over the last 3 years. And he takes strike 1. 61 at bats, 10 hits, a double. Computes to a 164 average, as you see. 76 miles per hour and a called 2nd strike.
Sale said he has 2 different breaking balls. One is that short, quick one that he throws in the high 80s, and then he's got that big looping, sweeping one that's in the high 70s.
Tapper. Sale backhands it. 2 down. And we'll bring up Danny Santana. Santana 0 for 2 today.
It started out like the Twins might get to Sale. Had him on the ropes. You mentioned, Dick, that bases loaded. One hit might have really blown it wide open for the Twins, but he was able to manage the chaos early, and then it's been very little effort for Chris Sale. It hasn't been high stress at all. He's really found his command, hasn't walked a hitter since the first inning. 9 strikeouts. Twins haven't hit a ball very hard since then.
Strike 1 and 1. 9 strikeouts for Sale, 5 of them looking. You got Santana swinging in the second. Santana now 0 for 8 against lefties as a right-handed batter with 4 strikeouts. 1 and 2. Just off the plate, 2 and 2. It's been said so often, doesn't mean it's not true. You get an ace pitcher like Sale, you get him on the ropes in the first inning, you got to take advantage of it. Tapper to third. Frazier's going to have a tough play getting Santana. Got him by 2 steps. A perfect third trip through the order for Chris Sale, and it's still 3-2.
Bottom of 7 as Ryan Presley goes out there for a second inning of work. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Minnesota Twins.
Bottom of the 7th now. Austin Jackson will lead off the inning against Ryan Presley. And a strike. Jackson, Abreu, and Frazier hit for the White Sox here in the 7th inning. And Santana just pitched 3 1/3 innings in his return from the disabled list. Another game where the Twins relying very heavily on the bullpen. 1-1. Tyler Duffy will make the start tomorrow, hoping to change all that.
Back to the youth movement in the next couple days. Duffy will pitch the final game of this series.
Jose Barrios will pitch Monday night against the Orioles. 2-1.
Just another game where the Twins, Paul Mahler, Neil Allen's got to be pretty happy about the contribution so far, at least from the bullpen. Brandon Kinsler making his first appearance out of the pen. Now Ryan Presley in his second inning. They've both done a good job in relief.
3-1. Jackson with the bases loaded walk his last time up to give the White Sox the 3-2 lead. Zipped inside. Jackson will take his second straight walk.
Michael Tonkin, Fernando Abad, Trevor May all pitched in relief in last night's game.
At the very least, the disabling injury to Santana disrupted what he hoped would be his first full season for the Twins. And how long it will take him to get his stamina and sharpness back remains to be seen. Neither were there tonight. But you're still waiting for Kyle Gibson, who's on the disabled list. The Twins put 40% of their rotation on the disabled list on the same day. It's kind of one of several things that have gone wrong for the Twins this year. Today's game, Suzuki had to leave, presumably because of the foul tip he took on the mask. Young Hole Park suffered a bruised knee and a pitch. White Sox have had the leadoff man on 5 times here tonight. Now it's Presley trying to pitch around the leadoff walk. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1.
Rayo led off the game, or led off the first inning with a base hit, got as far as second base. And since there, grounded out to second, struck out.
1-1. And a strike. Injuries contributing to this terrible start by the Twins, but there are a lot of other reasons out there. But just think about where the Twins are here tonight. They started Young Hole Park at first. Well, they started Suzuki behind the plate. They made a change there. They made a change at first with Mauer in for Park. They haven't played Dozier because of an injury. The starting shortstop Escobar put on the disabled list today because of a groin strain. And Trevor Plouffe is what, 4 games back from the disabled list.
That's the infield. Mastriani getting his first start in right field. Danny Santana
was supposed to be a utility player.
Yeah, was playing center field. Arcia made the team out of spring training. He's hit the ball fairly well playing left field.
Yet he wasn't the original starter in left field.
Was the original.
1-2. That ball gets through Centeno, and Jackson will go to second base, take a big turn, and hold up there. Might be a pass ball. It's a wild pitch, I beg your pardon. About a pitch that Centeno would tell you he's got a block.
See it again here from the center field camera. Ball squirts right through his legs. And even though the ball was down, you got to block that.
2-2. The rule of thumb seems to be if it hits the dirt, it's a wild pitch, but that ball should have been blocked. I would have ruled that a pass ball.
Went through his wickets.
Two and 2 to Abreu. Foul back. In the 6th inning, Presley pitched around the leadoff single. Things just 3 men, got the double play grounder. A bit more of a challenge here. Twins struggling to score runs. Chicago bullpen has been fortified, pitching really well this year. They don't want this lead to grow any more than it is right now. That landed 6 feet in front of the plate.
Release point a little late on that one.
Centeno let one go between his legs. That was a much tougher block, and he played that one nicely. 9th pitch of this at bat. Back-to-back walks to start the 7th inning. In support of May as Mental Health Month, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. and their commitment to improving the lives of families and those affected by mental health conditions. Learn more about how to be stigma-free and visit foxsportssports.com. To the mound by Neil Allen. We'll try to keep this a one-run game. Todd Frazier will hit against President.
Allen getting his work in back and forth to the mound the last few games. Miller, the home plate umpire, telling him your time's up.
Frazier with a fly to right, the game-tying home run in the third, and then he bounced to Plouffe in the fourth. And behind Frazier. In his outing, 24 pitches, only 11 strikes.
The phone is ringing now out in the Twins bullpen. They can't afford to let this go too far. This is only a one-run ball game.
Fair into the corner.
And now it's going to be a maybe a two-run game.
Frazier to second with an RBI double. And the back-to-back walks in the fourth gave the White Sox the lead. Now back-to-back walks starting the seventh, and it's 4-2.
The ball that was intended to be thrown away ended up inside, similar to the ball that he hit out of the ballpark. He pulls his hands in and drives this one over Plouffe's head down the left field line, scoring that leadoff walk.
And now the intentional walk to Cabrera. And we'll see if the Twins make a pitching change for Brett Lawrie after the intentional walk fills the bases. Cabrera will take first. They're loaded up. Still nobody out in the inning. And Lawrie, who has struck out twice and popped up once.
Fernando Abad pitching last night's game finally gave up an earned run. Pitching 1/3 of an inning.
Trying to bring the infield in here. Let them home to get a force play. Already down by 2. Word on Kurt Suzuki, by the way. He left the ball game with upper trapezius tightness. So it's a leg or shoulder injury. I don't know whether, tended to believe it had something to do with the foul tip. The ball chopped in front of the. And that ball hits the bag. Plouffe lets it go by and it hit the bag. Second run of the inning.
When things are going well, like they are for the White Sox, good things like that happen, and it's just the opposite effect for the Twins. Bases still remain loaded. 2 runs in, nobody out. Brett Lawrie, a swinging bunt here. Trevor Plouffe wasn't going to be able to get him. He runs well, so he makes the decision to let it go, hoping that it's going to go foul, and it hits the base. And everybody goes 90 feet.
2 runs in, bases still loaded, nobody out. And Garcia the batter, infield in again. Corners the inside corner.
More than likely the last hitter that Ryan Pressly will see. Deoner Navarro on deck with 3 hits already in this game.
And that kicks out in front of home plate off of Centeno. Pressly's giving Centeno a workout here in the 7th inning.
Well, the White Sox on the verge of blowing this one open here.
Strike 2 and 2. Tip as Pressly came inside.
Kind of a defensive swing there for Garcia.
Pitching an adrenaline. I see 97 miles per hour. Two and 2. Garcia hit by a pitch. Coming in from third is Frazier. And there's still nobody out in the inning. The 7th inning has been a disaster for the Twins. Paul Molitor will have to change pitchers. In the inning, 3 walks, one of them intentional. A hit batter, 1 well-hit ball, an RBI double, a single off the third base bag, and Pressly, who did a nice job in the 6th, has a terrible time of it in the 7th. Ryan Pressly. He's faced 6 men. 3 men have scored. No one's retired. He leaves the bases full. And he had a good 6th inning, but trying to get an extra inning out of him, and it just kind of fell apart. And now Abad will try to somehow keep the damage. Too late to say keep it to a minimum, but keep it at 3 runs. Face Deanna Navarro, a switch hitting catcher who's already got 3 hits tonight.
Bullpen has been used a lot in the last week or so.
Pat Dean, who was added to the roster today, started a ball game on Wednesday. So the Twins don't want to use him here today. That's part of the issue.
Michael Tonkin is thrown now in the bullpen in case something goes bad here for Abad.
Third reliever. Third reliever, I beg your pardon. One and 0. Twins with the infield in, of course. A bullet to Plouffe on the way. And now Tyler Saladino.
Deanna Navarro has hit the ball hard every single time up this game. 3 hits, and that one there could have been extra bases had it gotten by Plouffe. You can laugh about it. They're having fun, Chicago.
Yes, they are. Twins had a couple of walk-off wins in the last homestand, and that's been about the extent of the fun this year. Chopper to third. Plouffe will come home. They get the force play, and Centeno has to lie on the ground to get the force play. Throw up the first baseline. 2 down. Bases still loaded. Bases still loaded. 2 away. And now Eaton, the 9th man to bat. "11 hits for the White Sox, just 3 for the Twins, and 2 of those coming in the first inning. Ball 1.
If Abad can maybe get an out right here, even though it was a very tough inning for Ryan Pressly, it could have been a lot worse. Hopefully Abad can figure out something here.
1-1 to Eaton. Single, a walk, a fly ball, and a ground ball double play for Eaton tonight. Twins have got great work from Abad, who, as you said, finally gave up a run last night. Trevor May, after a couple of uneven appearances out of the bullpen in April, has been outstanding.
For the most part, Ryan Pressly has pitched pretty well, but not tonight.
On the ground. Force made at second. So nice job by Abad. The 3 runs were in before he entered the game. They add 3 more and lead by 4. Wild side. And Tom Thibodeau, the new Timberwolves coach. The White Sox lead it here now by 4 runs, and Matt Albers comes in to pitch to the Twins in the 8th.
Oh, another outstanding ball game pitched by Chris Sale. Easily could win his 7th straight game to start this season. Finishes with 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts.
Darren Mastroianni will lead things off for the Twins in the 8th. 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Chopper right side. Easy play for Laurie. On the way. Twins had a good first inning. Scored 2. Had the bases full. And haven't done much of anything since. Carsoup.com trivia. The only 2 pitchers to lose 5 games in a season. I'm going to go with somebody from the Red Sox in 1965. Could be Lon Borg, Monduquette, Earl Wilson, somebody like that. Earl Wilson.
Steve Busby.
Wow. See, I know that because of my Stratomatic cards.
I thought Earl Wilson pitched for Detroit.
He did.
Not in 65.
Not in 65. Imagine that, playing a team 18 times and beating them 17 times. One strike. And now a ball to Nunez. 0 for 3 today. Steve Busby threw 2 no-hitters for the Royals. And Earl Wilson threw a no-hitter too. I think that might have been with the Tigers. Fouled away.
Play the game long enough, you're going to have your good days and your bad days.
One and 2 to Nunez. Facing Albers. Frazier barehands it, and it's an infield hit for Nunez, who conveniently loses his helmet right at first base. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Here's Miguel Sano. Single to start the 2-run first inning. 2-out single, then a double, and 2 hit batters and a walk, and the Twins had a 2-0 lead. And Chris Sale went to work. The infield hit by Nunez, just the 2nd base runner they've had since that first inning when 5 men in a row reached.
Talked about the dry spell that Miguel Sano's gone through with the home run ball. I feel like if he hits one, it would really spark this team. I don't know what it is about power hitters.
To the line, makes the catch 2 away. You know, and then the best example in Twins history, somebody hits one, and then the next one comes. The best example was Harmon Killebrew, who waited 3.5 weeks to hit his 500th home run. Then as soon as he hit the 500th, he hit 501 in the same game.
That's baseball.
There's Trevor Plouffe. Ground rule double in the first inning.
Johnson hasn't pitched in a while, so they're getting him up. Pitched the bottom half of the 8th, maybe.
And first pitch strike. Plouffe's double in the first inning, his first hit since rejoining the active roster. that'll hurt. On this date, 16 years ago, Tom Kelly picked up his 1,000th win as a major league manager.
That's a lot of wins.
And then a couple years ago, Ron Gardenhire picked up his 1,000th. Played for a guy, Sparky Anderson, that had over 2,000 major league wins as a manager.
I'm not sure if he had 1,000 in each league, but he might have.
Plouffe is called out on strikes, and the Twins are done in the 8th inning.
Fastball away.
Twins trailing here 6-2, having a 2-0 lead very early, and as Jack mentioned, Kevin Jepson just hasn't had many opportunities to pitch, and he will come in here to pitch to the White Sox in the 8th inning. Austin Jackson's not an easy guy to walk, yet the Twins have managed to walk him in back-to-back plate appearances. A bases-loaded walk in the 4th from Irvin Santana that gave the White Sox their first lead at 3-2. And then Presley's disastrous 7th inning started with a leadoff walk to Jackson, and then another walk to Abreu, and then the rest of the inning just got ugly after that. For Jackson, just his 7th and 8th walks of the year, and with nearly 100 at bats.
At one time, the leadoff hitter for the Tigers was traded over from New York. They'd have a guy that'd be there a long, long time.
He got traded to Seattle in the middle of a game. Tigers pulled him off the field and informed him that he was going to Seattle.
Unusual, I'm sure. I don't know if I ever was involved in any kind of trade where it happened during the game.
1-2. And blocked by Santana.
Isn't there a player, I'm sure it's happened more than once, that back when they played double headers was traded to the team across the field?
Well, it happened within a series to Rick Aguilera, who came in from the bullpen. He wasn't in the game, but the Twins called him in from the bullpen and traded him to the Red Sox. who were in the Metrodome at the time. Take a look at this pitch in the dirt, or near the outside corner, I should say. 3-2. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. Over Plouffe into the corner, and Jackson will get an extra base hit. It's a leadoff double against Jepson here in the 8th inning. Joel Youngblood played an afternoon game and got a hit. He was traded after the game, showed up for his new team, and got a base hit for his new team. He got 2 hits for 2 different teams in 2 different cities in the same day.
That's a good day or a bad day.
Here is Abreu after Jackson's leadoff double here in the 8th.
Kevin Jepson last pitched in the first game of this road trip in Houston, the game that the Twins won against Dallas Keuchel.
Inside corner 0-2. Well, after a good start, this has evolved into another ugly game for the Twins, and tomorrow they're going to hand the ball to Tyler Duffy. He, of all of 68 major league innings pitched, against Jose Quintana.
Quintana undefeated this year also, so Twins are seeing 3 of the better pitchers on this White Sox staff in this series.
0-2, and up the line foul. Let's take a look at what's next. Brought to you by CenturyLink. A day game tomorrow.
Oh, I made a mistake. He has lost a game, didn't he?
With an ERA of 1.40. And Duffy's pitched well this year as he did last year. 5-1 last year.
I'm excited for Tyler Duffy. I know he's a bulldog kind of guy. I'd love to be the guy to stop this mess that the Twins are in. I know he's excited to get back out there.
1-2. It's a good word. It's a mess. Twins haven't played well. And the roster has been very fluid, particularly on this road trip.
We're trying to figure out how to put it back together, and the players, they have to be the ones to do it.
Swing, did he go? No swing, says first base umpire Pat Hogan. Jepson's already thrown 11 pitches. Pitch around a leadoff double to Austin Jackson.
Kevin Jepson can be one of those deliberate guys. When he doesn't get that first out, pace of game seems to slow down quite a bit for him.
And the base hit pushed into right field. They're going to send Jackson. Here's the throw from Mastroeni, not in time. And now Abreu will scamper back to the bag. John McEwing very aggressively coaching third base. Mastroeni charged that ball and lost his footing as he delivered a throw with everything he could into it, but still not in time to get Jackson. Abreu drives in another run for the White Sox.
It's a little thing, but Jose Abreu really appreciates his third base coach sending the runner there. He picks up an RBI because of aggressive base running. Austin Jackson would have made this easily years ago, but he's lost a step or so.
Todd Frazier takes ball 1. And Abreu went halfway to second and then retreated. 11 runs batted in his last 8 games. The lead is growing as it did last night. 1-1. I asked my followers on Twitter this afternoon to give a title of a song that describes the first 5 weeks of the Twins season. And you can imagine some of the responses.
I'm really not sure I want to know.
Well, there were some encouraging ones, positive ones, believe it or not. Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. The Temptations, I Wish It Would Rain. That was pretty creative. But I like the one that someone sent, Schubert's Unfinished Symphony. Twins got a lot of work to do to finish the symphony. But
can you recite a little bit of that for me?
Hum a few bars? One down. The series started with ominous, maybe threatening words from Twins general manager Terry Ryan saying, you know, this is not acceptable and we're going to change some things. And boy, the transaction wire's been full of Twins players with Malone clearing waivers and being sent down. Presumably he'll start in Rochester. Last year he was just lights out in the month of May in Rochester and then came up and helped the club later in the season. Veen picked up on waivers by the Dodgers. He'll fly to Toronto today to join his new ball club. All back. Oddly enough, Veen might will join some former Twins in that clubhouse. Of course, Colabello suspended, of course, but Liam Hendricks still with the Blue Jays. I think he is. He's struggling a little bit, I know. 1-1 to Melky Cabrera. And that'll hurt. 1-2. Drops his bat, tries to walk it off a little bit.
There's been some hitters
from Schneider,
the fossil. It's been here.
I was going to say the longtime trainer for the White Sox.
Herm wouldn't mind me saying that. He was one of my all-star team trainers way back when.
All right, I've learned. Don't leave any pregnant pauses out there for you to fill in.
Hey, the fact that we're smiling right now after this is okay.
1-2. Off the plate. And Jepson will retire Cabrera. And on the play, Abreu goes to second base. And now Brett Lawrie. Paul Molitor, conscious of Jepson's 19 pitches thrown, and the fact that the idea was to get him limber and loose, get a workout in. And I haven't seen a motion to the bullpen yet.
I don't think Kevin really wants to come out of his game. But, have to listen to his manager. He'd like to get the last out.
Jepson will leave, and he hopes that he'll be used in a save situation tomorrow. Michael Tonkin will try to get the last out of the 8th. straight innings again. 3 runs in the 7th, 1 so far here in the 8th. And Brett Lawrie will face Michael Tonkin.
Well, so far the top 6 hitters in this lineup have had 5 at-bats in this game. This will be Brett Laurie's 5th at-bat. He got a base hit and a couple strikeouts. Slide out to second base.
Lawrie with a runner at second and 2 down. Pitches up, ball 1. Again, over what appears to be the 4th straight loss for the Twins. Over the 4 games, Twins got a total of 13 innings from their starting pitchers. Need we say more, but we're in the bottom of the 8th, and we got to talk through the top of the 9th here, so we will say more.
Well, to add some more onto the fire, 33 runs now over the last 3 games.
Right. In the case of last night and tonight, it's been the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings that have really stretched out the Chicago leads. 2-1.
Tonkin faced Brett Lawrie last night. Lawrie hit a line drive to left field for a base hit. It was the last pitch up in the zone. Lawrie swung underneath it.
Tonkin hasn't been used in many high leverage situations. Overall, the numbers, opponent batting average of 207. Walks not ridiculously high, 7 of them in 16 innings, 16 strikeouts. 3-2. And a strikeout. And that will end the 8th inning. The White Sox add another run. Team's having a lot of fun, and the other one decidedly is not. Another lopsided score at 7-2 as we go to the 9th inning. And Joe Mauer will lead things off. Zach Duke pitching for the White Sox.
Having a pretty good start to his season. Already has appeared in what will be his 18th game.
And strike one to Mauer, 0 for 2. Entered the game after Byung-ho Park was hit in the knee by a pitch back in the first inning. And he stayed in the game, ran the bases, but then came out of the game. Mauer was supposed to have the day off. So it's anybody's guess whether Park will be able to play tomorrow. Brian Dozier is supposed to be back in the lineup after resting a tight hamstring. And Mauer walks away, taking a call, third strike, one down. Second at bat in a row where Joe has taken a call, third strike. Perfect pitch by Duke right there. And that'll bring up Arcia.
Twins haven't seen closer David Robertson at all in this series yet. They haven't had to use him. Red Sox have had big leads going deep into the game.
One and one to Arcia. And now a ball. Arcia got credit for an RBI with the first inning bases loaded walk over the inside corner. 2-2. Taken all 8 of Duke's pitches so far. Now inside, Arcia draws another walk, his second walk tonight. He had 2 walks last night. And that'll bring up Polanco. Polanco hit by a pitch in the first inning with the bases loaded, and then doubled in the fourth against Sale. Called out on strikes by Sale in the 7th. Ball one. Mentioned in his professional career, this is the 7th time he's been called up, and in none of the call-ups has he lasted more than 4 days.
It's crazy. You know, there used to be different rules in baseball, but nowadays you can, I don't know how, it's unlimited, I guess, up and down in the same year.
You get 3 years of options. It used to be 3 options, I believe, and every time you sent a player down, you used one.
Right.
And they changed that years ago. So Polanco 2 years ago was called up briefly up on an A ball, and they optioned him back, and again last year and again this year.
He's the kind of guy that gets called up just in case when somebody gets hurt, defensive replacement, that kind of thing. Hasn't had a lot of at-bats.
And he strikes out for out number 2. And that'll bring up Centeno. Centeno entered the game when Suzuki led because of an injury. Awfully thin in the catching department, so they have relied successfully on Suzuki's Ironman status behind the plate, but he had to leave the game. And we'll see what his status is for tomorrow and beyond. Strike one to Centeno. One and one. standing here at U.S. Cellular Field. So far this year, they've been watching the best team in the American League. Back to the mound. And the White Sox have won the first 5 games of this season series against the Minnesota Twins. Tom Hanneman, the Twins need to figure something out in a hurry. They've won just 8 of their first 30 ball games.